Hey, you guys, it's Lynn. We got Leah here and Nita. Um, I really wanted to come on and talk tonight, really quick, about something that's been bothering us for a long, long time. The twin flame community has a lot of talk about leaving your twin in it. Um, and I want to talk about that today because team has been pushing us to, and hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something is amiss. I'm really just learning this little program that we're doing here. Um, but anyway, here comes Stancy too. I'm gonna let her on. Okay, this has been bugging me forever and ever. We talk about it all the time, but the problem is there's such an idea in the community of this frustration because for some reason everybody's has these expectations that their twin is supposed to be doing this or doing that. And when you look around in the community, I find it really, really frustrating because um, there's card readings that are regurgitated and over and over and over, and they've been saying the same thing basically based on the idea that there's this divine timing, which means my twin is just going to show up someday for me and fall in my lap out of nowhere when it's God's timing, but nobody can really quantify what that means. And so we've got a lot of twins that are frustrated because this has been going on for years and years and years. Um, I wanted to talk about that because there's a different way. There's other ways to look at this. There's so much to this. We're going to be going through a lot of these elements to the actual twin flame journey. And thank you, Lyra. She's putting these links up there. But there are so many elements to the twin flame journey that contribute to what is considered a successful journey, meaning you're really happy with your twin, whether or not you are in separation, whether you have contact in the 3D or you don't. There are so many elements to how you make this successful and how you make it loving. And it's really not. So when you look out in the community, and people keep sending clips to me of videos or somebody made a comment in a group or whatever it is, but every single time it makes me cringe because um, it all boils down to one thing. The number one thing that is like the make or break it, whether your twinship is rocking and it's amazing and you are in touch with the journey, you know exactly what's going on, you know where you are, um, you know how your twins doing, you're assisting them, you have a very healthy exchange, whether it's on the soul level, the 3D, or both, or if you're like most people that are out in the community that are basically saying, I'm exhausted, why is he not showing up, I'm being ghosted, I'm so frustrated, I'm just going to leave him in it and go work on myself. And there's a lot of these type of things going on. So I wanted to really address that today because this really does make or break the journey, is how you perceive, how you handle this. Is anybody here? We've all worked together. Stancy and Nita and Leah are. We've all been working together for years. They were a part of the master class, and I know they know their shit. They all have really, really powerful twinships, and their mastery is just off the charts. And so I invited them. I want them to share their input because they have so much knowledge, and their perspective is just on point. So you guys have pointed some things out before. Does anyone want to share something that you saw in the community that made you go, what's that F?
Sure, I can talk a little bit about. So I saw in the community not too long ago, it was a reader that was basically talking about how the divine does not want you to wait. That's not divine. They want what's best for you. Basically, long story short, she was saying is don't have unconditional love for and understanding and compassion for your twin. Really kind of think about yourself and what you want or what you need in your best interest and go after that, because you shouldn't have to wait for divine time. You shouldn't have to put in the work. You put in the work on yourself, and not so much lead your twin, basically, which is really disheartening, because that's there's just so much in the community, they don't really understand how this journey works and how you're supposed to have unconditional love and compassion for your twin and kind of be the one to lead him. And that's basically how you reach mastery.
I literally thought my mic was off the whole time. Sorry.
Oh,
I was responding to what you just said,
I thought it was
Leah.
my audio.
I'm used to like Clubhouse where when you're not talking, you turn your mic off, and then, but we usually don't do it in the meeting, so it's like a habit. No, totally. I remember when you shared that meet with me, and I was so upset, and I went in there and I listened to that, and it was terrifying because there were 35,000 people in this. There were 35,000 people that had seen this video, and she, like you were saying, she was talking about just ditch your twin in it and give up, and the divine, which doesn't, there's no discernment in the word divine. Dark and light both believe they're divine. So when you're talking to the divine, you don't really know who you're talking to. Dark is some of the most deceptive creatures on the planet. So there wasn't any discernment in this. It was born of frustration. It was, this person is, frustrated with their journey, and so they're basically trying to tell these people, move away from your twin path because basically you're not getting what you want, and using the guise of some divine whatever being she was talking to was telling you to walk away from your twin and give up, that the divine wants you to do that. Well, that's not Holy Father God's plan for true twins. So it was like horrifying to me because people are listening to her as an authority. And okay, gotcha, Stancy, thanks. They're listening to her as an authority in this. And so many people, if they don't have discernment and they didn't know really what's going on in the path, they're moving right away from it, right? Because there are so many people that are out there frustrated, but that's really not what this journey is about. So, yeah. Is anyone else seeing things like in the community that's talking about this that you guys have noticed? Because a lot of people have brought stuff to me.
Like another situation where we have somebody in the group has a situation to somebody else, to another twin, and it's just one example of in our group basically leading in love, giving them the love and support, and seeing their twin kind of progress and be uplifted and move along in this journey, whereas the other one that's busy bashing their twin, they're really just, their life's falling apart, and their twinship is just basically falling into pieces.
Yeah. Our whole job is to love our twins, right? It's not that hard. It's like, if you legitimately are loving your twins with unconditional love, which is what Jesus is teaching us to all move into. Unconditional love means no expectations. There's no conditions, right? It means you don't have expectations for what you're going to get back. You just love them anyway. You love them no matter what they're going through in their life. No matter what, you're there to assist and help them. No matter if they have somebody that they're in a long-term relationship with, you treat that with respect. Meaning, if you are with a twin that has a relationship with somebody else, you're carrying that out respectfully for all involved. Meaning, you are carrying on a platonic relationship, right? There's no betrayal. There's none of this type of thing where you're violating someone's trust in either way, right? um, you're doing whatever you can with the conditions that are in place to still love them as a person. And what we've been noticing is if people don't get what the cards tell them that they're going to get, if the journey doesn't go the way they think, then they start getting frustrated with the twin when it's not the twin's fault. They're moving into a relationship with expectations, and anytime you have expectations, you're going to fall flat. So what we've been really pushing people to do is move into the mastery of unconditional love. It's so easy to do it. It legitimately is the same love that like a mother has for her children. It's, I love you so much that no matter what you do, I'll be here for you. I'll support you. I may have to tough love your ass once in a while to help you learn your lessons that you need, but I'm not going to leave you in it. I'm not going to, not pick you up from, your car breaks down. I'm not going to leave you out in the rain because, you deserved it. I'm not going to get upset if you lash out. I'm going to try to help you understand what your wounds are. I know every time something goes on with my kids, the first thing I do is go, okay, where did this come from? Was it something that they missed as a kid? Was it something I did wrong? Where along the way is this response coming from? And then help them with it. Every single person is wounded. Every single person has lessons that they have to learn. And if you're bashing somebody because they're not giving you what you want because they've got a wound or they're afraid or they're insecure or they've got something that they need to get through, all you're going to do is push them away. So your twin needs you. Not only that, this is a connection. The twin flame connection isn't just two people that they're getting along and they have a thing, right? It's not like an attraction or an obsession or some type of relationship that's hot and cold or hit or miss. You're legitimately connected all the time with an etheric cord. You're sharing frequency, sharing emotions. You can feel your twin in any given moment in multiple ways. You should be able to really tap in and understand what they're given time. Able to use your abilities, your God-given twin flame abilities, your clairsentience. You can see what's going on with them. Your clairvoyance. You can see what's going on with them. Your clairsentience. You should be able to pick up what they're going through throughout their day, unless they're blocking you or they're numbed out. There are reasons for that. You should be able to get knowings from them and be able to hear them telepathically. And I'm not saying fluently all the time. It's like a roller coaster. It's stronger and weaker depending on the day and what you're going through. But these are given to us to help us navigate separation beautifully. So if you're tapping into your connection with your twin and you're getting the guidance from Holy Father God and your angelic team, there's no reason that you even have to wonder what's going on with your twin or wonder what they need or wonder how to help them with a wound. It's the whole embracing the connection with and embracing the connection with your twin that helps you look at them with unconditional love. Because if you're feeling them have anxiety throughout the day, you're stopping and going, what's going on? What can I do to assist them? Do I need to calm them down? Is it something that I can help mirror them and fix it that way in a remote way? What can I do to assist them? You can even go to them in the 5D and say, hey, what's going on with you? What can I do to help you? Or what do you need from me? Even if you haven't talked in 5 years, it doesn't matter. True twin flames with this etheric connection, there's love going through it. There's feeling going through it. There's thoughts going through it. You're sharing and you're integrated in every single moment. So if you're truly embracing that and you're tuning into it, that's why it's so important for you to embrace the connection itself. That's why we're able to endure separation, and it shouldn't be a shitty thing. It should be, okay, I can do this because I can feel him in every moment. So it's good. Or I can get the answer I need in whatever way I need it. You're going to get it in whatever way you get it best. But looking at him or her like they're a completely separate person, and because they're being quiet and because they're lashing out or because they're not feeling good or they're not treating you like you want to be treated or because they have another person in their life, if you're saying I'm not getting what I'm wanted and you walk away and go work on yourself, then you're ignoring half of yourself, which is the other side of this connection. How are you going to lead your twin to you? How are you going to help them if you've got your back turned? The etheric cord between twins, it legitimately has the frequency from both twins moving back and forth and communicating all the time. If you're not feeding that cord, if you're not pushing love through that cord, I've seen those cords dissipate and kind of disintegrate. I've seen people lose their twinships because they want to leave their twin in it. They turn their back to them. They stick their nose up in the air like, well, I'm going to go work on myself. And there's no love, there's no anything going through that cord, which is what it's designed for. So you can legitimately starve your cord to death. You can't cut that thing, but you can legitimately starve it to death. And I see people doing it all the time. It's terrifying. There are people who were so committed to their twinship that even through really, really long separation, no contact in the 3D at all, even through really intense, really harsh, dark attacks or whatever, or really, really hard situations, they still were pushing the love towards their twin. They still were committed to sending the twin the love that they needed. And I've seen, like, I've walked into really dark clearings and I've gone, wow, like this is really, really deep stuff. And the only reason that you guys are still connected is because I can see that cord is hanging on by a thread because you keep pushing the love through it. It's like the love and the frequency keeps it strong and it builds it. You take it away and you starve it. It's kind of like an umbilical cord. Like if you crimp an umbilical cord, that thing's going to eventually, I mean, you're going to be, the cord will rot. This is the exact same thing for twins. When I look out in the community, it scares the shit out of me because I'm like, how many people are believing that they're not connected enough for their twin, or they don't even realize the connection that they have or the depth of the connection they have, to the point that all they're feeling is lack. They don't get what they want. They're feeling ghosted. Their twin's not showing up because they don't understand divine timing has nothing to do with that at all. And they're not handling this in unconditional love. They're handling this in, if I don't get what I want, then he doesn't get what he wants, or she doesn't get what she wants. The quickest way to flip this around is legitimately look at your twin like, I'm going to do whatever I can to support and love them in the position that I'm at in their life. And do it in spades. Give it to them unwaveringly. Love them like you love your children. If your kid ran over somebody tomorrow and was in prison, would you just leave them there and say, well, I don't really care about you because you did something wrong? Or would you do it? Your twin is going to go through a shit ton of stuff where they have to bare their heart and they have to break themselves down. And it's not fun. What we're seeing in the community right now is that DMs are getting pushed. I'm a DM. I moved away from what didn't serve me. And it was 2 months of straight up dramatic hell. I don't think I've ever been pushed to a breaking point like this in my life, to the point where I said, if it's not smiley and rosy, I don't have room for it. It has to go. I literally cleaned everything out of my life that wasn't peaceful, loving, and productive and healthy. So if you're experiencing this right now, if you've got a big wedge between you and your twin, or there's some lashing out or some drama or some distance, you got to flip it around and look at it as, what's going on? They must be having a hell of a time. What can I do to assist? And then do it remotely. You really got to embrace that connection. All of you guys here have done that. Stancy, Nita, Leah. Can you guys maybe, or one of you have like an example of your journey where just this one flip of, I'm going to love them no matter what, when things got rough, that made a difference? Or if there was a shift in your journey when you kind of understood, I got to just shift this, it's a choice, and how that impacted you? if you dare. If you don't want to, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I can kind of speak to my situation. So we had a couple years where, there was no communication, nothing. And then we'd run into each other and he'd basically like run and hide. So basically in my situation is I can just kind of, sit in it and, see myself as like, take it personally and feel rejected, or I can let that go, release any expectation and just send him love, because ultimately it wasn't about me, it was about him. So being able to, or just consistently, unwaveringly just sending him the unconditional love and focusing our connection on the soul level, that helped turn things around. And then we now have, we'll have from time to time, we'll have communication, and it's loving, there's just, it's just wonderful. So um, that's the difference that I've seen, just basically just by being unwavering with the unconditional love, and just wanting what's best for him and putting him first and making him the priority.
Totally. Totally, 100%. And you have mostly separation. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we call you 5D queen, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because you've embraced your soul level connection so well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's totally turned your whole journey around. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's really become beautiful.
Yeah.
It's I always use you as an inspiration for everybody about
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
your soul level because of that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in a great place. We have been for a very long time. And one thing that it like showed me from my personal experience is just the big difference in the 3D than there is on the soul level connection. So it was letting go of, whatever the situation is in the 3D, whatever's happening, just put that to the side, let it go, just send love, and then focus on the soul connection. And that's what really, I believe, pushed us forward, was that working on the soul level connection. And then we've grown closer and like kind of built our bond on the soul level. And that's made a difference.
100%. I've noticed that when you can love them just unconditionally and unwaveringly and like just consistently, right? It's like no matter what, I'm gonna love you from over here. It's all good. Um, it takes a lot of that pressure off because the expectation is crumbling, right? When they've got somebody in their life, or you have somebody in your life, and then you're trying to navigate this, but you have expectations on top of them, and it's like a expectations you're not entitled to have. It puts them in a horrible position, right?
Yeah.
And just saying, hey, I just want what's best for you. If that's where you need to be right now, that's great. I have nothing but respect for that, and I'll do whatever I can to support you in the ways that I can. Those expectations go flying out the window, and an anvil comes off their shoulders. It's like it changes your whole dynamic. So a lot of twins out that I do this, I give the unconditional love, but then still a week later, I don't get anything back. Well, that's still an expectation because you're expecting that if you do this for a week or two, then, and you're loving them unconditionally and supporting them, giving 100%, then you're still expecting to get something back. That's not what this is about. That's an agenda. So you got to really self-assess where it's coming from. It's like, are you doing it just because you care about them that much and you want them to have a happy life? Or is there really an agenda behind it because you're seeing what you get back? And the interesting thing is when you can do it from a straight up unconditional place, which is, I don't even care. I just love this person so much, or I care about this person so much. I'm going to support them in any way I can. And organically, what that does is it creates a shift in both of you at the same time. So even though you're not back, it still creates a shift and it gives you something that's better. It's more peaceful, it's more respectful, it's more loving, it's more transparent. There's so many wins in just loving somebody else. It's really not that hard, but it is. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like, at least by just, I know in my situation, by having like absolutely no expectation, like when I do hear from him, I'm not, bashing him or being like, where have you been? Why didn't I hear from you sooner? It's just, I'm just grateful to hear from you and be able to spend the time with you that we do have together. So he knows he's comfortable and he knows that he's safe to reach out whenever he needs or whenever he wants. And there's not going to be any hostility or animosity. It's just he's going to be welcomed with open arms and love. And I think that's helped as well.
100%. Because basically, then you're still showing him that there just aren't any
Yeah.
conditions. If you're just happy to see him, then it's not like, well, after all this time, I've been holding my breath. And it's like the proof's in the pudding. It's, you don't act unconditional. And then when you actually see them, all the expectations come pouring out.
Right.
You either have them or you don't. Um, so it's really, really hard to do, but it's not. The key is just looking outside yourself. It's like, do you really love them so much that you just want them to be in every moment doing what you can to assist them? Do you love them so much like you would your kid that I'll do whatever I can to support you? Um, doesn't matter if you're going through a rough time or if you're making a really bad choice or, wow, I really don't like the person that you're hooked up with, because it's like my son's dated one that I was like, oh, I'm not going to say that out loud, but I'm not saying which son and I'm not saying her name. So there you go. Nobody knows. But I was always like, okay, I'm sure that this is gonna, he knew. But it's one of these things where this is your experience and this is what you need to have to do. And I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna support you while you go through this and I'll help you if I'm here. But it's basically the same thing. I mean, as long as they have someone in their life, or if you have someone in your life, your job is to be the best you can be in a way that's platonic. Like, be their very best friend. Do what you can to love them no matter what. If they are not around, it's not because of you. Divine timing has nothing to do with your feelings about each other at all. It really doesn't. It has to do with the energetic strategy in the spiritual war timeline, and it also has to do with mastery. So, if that doesn't mean anything to you, trust me. We spent 4 hours just explaining it in the masterclass last group. If you guys are interested in learning what all of this stuff actually is, then we do have the masterclass round 2 is going. Leah put the link up in here. If you guys are interested, check it out. If you have any questions, just email me about it. We don't have to do a session of 45 minutes. Just email me sessions if you want to. If you're super committed and you really want to dive into it, sign up for the 45-minute and we can break it down and see if this is the best fit for you. But really understanding the journey is like half the battle. If people don't understand divine timing, then they're taking out the fact that their twin's not there on their twin, when it's not the twin's fault at all. People who think they're the DF, but they're the DM. So they're running and they don't know it. And I will say right now, in the last 4 months, we have seen twins move, like actually move away from what doesn't serve them. We have seen them make huge strides, move away from lessons that they finally learned. I moved away from what didn't serve me in my 3D in July. It took me 2 months and it was dramatic hell. But I was so damned, like God said this was going to happen. I was so damned convicted that this is what I need to do 100% and there's no changing it. That I drove through it because I needed it. I needed to not have drama and chaos in my life. And so I got rid of it. A lot of DMs and DFs are doing that right now because we're all in the same place where we're moving around a corner. Twins are really moving into place. They're moving to where they're supposed to be going in their path. And I've never seen movement like this before. Have you guys seen movement like this before? What are you guys seeing?
I have to agree with that. I think for years it was just very slow movement from what we can actually see in the 3D, very slow progress. But the last few months, it's just been corner after corner. Like it's going fast and it's happening so rapidly. It's enough to make your head spin. especially like if you're comparing like all of us in the group, it's just all of us are experiencing these progress and these changes in our journeys. It's really amazing.
Mm-hmm. And I think the people that are in the community, I get so upset because I come out, not upset, but I get really discouraged, I think. I don't even think discouraged is the word. I come out in the community and I see everybody having a really hard time, and it's kind of depressing because it's so easy to grasp. It's like, if you can embrace your own connection, then you don't need people to read cards for you. You don't need people to, like, you legitimately have a connection with your twin. Um, it's so easy just to love your twin. You know, I
I
just lost what
totally
I was
agree.
what I was going to say, but it was like, I mean, I come out into the community and everybody is, they don't, I don't know where my twin is, or he's not here, or she's not here, and if they understood that right now twins are getting pulled apart more than ever, like, first of all, let me just talk about the big, giant, disgusting elephant in the room really quick. For everybody that's like, but so-and-so's in union. No, they're not. If they're true, actual true twin flames, and there aren't that many of them, most of them are not together. If you don't understand this, I want you to ask whoever you're listening to how they determine who comes to them. Okay, I'll give you an example. There's a guy in one of these YouTubes that says he does this master class and he has 5,000 people, which is great. But here's the thing. I don't feel it's ethical to just let anybody invest in a path that's not theirs and invest their time, money, their heart into something that isn't in their best interest. So if you're listening to someone who basically just lets anybody in the door and they don't really care, and they're not trying to identify what's the best path for you, I'm kind of worried about that. But right, your discernment is key. So we've got all of these people out in the community that have just basically flooded the whole entire community with everybody's a twin. So it's not the case. So now we've got all these people out there that are touting that, oh, I put twins into union every week. Let's go through this course and I'm going to put you in union and you'll be in union in 30 days and all this kind of crap. If you're seeing that, that's not a twinship, because twins are not supposed to be together. If these people can't explain to you what divine timing is and how it aligns with the spiritual war, how it aligns with the timing, how it aligns with God's blueprint, if they don't know where it is on the blueprint, then I want you to ask them how they know they're actual twins. And if they tell you it's because they feel like it, or we're going to go through the signs tomorrow, the actual signs that twins have that soulmates don't, so you know the difference. But what I'm telling you is, if we had to sit here and pick it apart, people are just blanket saying everybody's a twin. Everybody can do this. Everybody can. And it's just not true. There are certain things that twins have to do that is a responsibility. And this soul connection is one of them. The cord, using your abilities, being able to communicate with each other and assist each other. Super important. So when I come out into the community and I see people going, oh, he's not showing up, and it's like everybody's bashing their twins and wanting to leave them in it. My first question is, are you actually navigating a twin flame connection? If you're not navigating a twin flame connection and it's really a soulmate connection, then heck yeah, I would step away from that in a hot second. But if you're twins, you have a responsibility to embrace the connection and assist, because you are the same soul, you are the same energy, and you have to assist each other. One goes down, you both go down. So I didn't mean to go off on a rant on that, but kind of did. It's been building up for a long time. There's a lot of this. We haven't been on YouTube in the longest time, and I've got 6 years worth of this crap, like, all piled up. But we're going to be getting back out here more. If people want to debate and challenge this, I'm open. It's totally fine if it's done in a healthy way. But it's super important, number one, to know what your connection is. And it's super important to just connection. Just love your twin. Just love them no matter what. It's really not that hard. If you really are saying, oh, I truly unconditionally love my twin, then there should be no buts about it. You shouldn't be able to say I love him, but. So if you're frustrated with him, there's a but. What's your but? That's an expectation. That's not being met. That's not conditional. That's not unconditional. It's conditional love. So, any other thoughts on that? Chrissy's saying, we can't run from it. Separation really helps us grow. Yeah. I mean, we have these abilities because we have to be pulled apart because of the divine timing and the spiritual war and the energetic strategy and all this kind of stuff. We have to get pulled apart. Twins are getting like yanked apart right now. Like, okay, like Tampa Bay when all the water receded back out into the ocean. Usually when the water recedes like that, there's a tsunami coming. Then it comes in and basically levels everything. That's what kind of has been happening. Not kind of. That's what's been happening to twins for, well, I think since what, May, June, you guys?
Yeah, right about that time.
It's been a distinct pullback, pull away. Because when do come with our energy close together, it's explosive, and we can't have that right now. So there's that. Is there anything I missed that you guys want to add? Okay, what happens? I mean, the proof is in the pudding, really. What happens when you actually move into this place when you are legitimately, unconditionally loving your twin in every moment? What is your journey like? Because I know all three of you guys are there consistently.
It's very peaceful. Like, we're in a good place. There's no conflict, there's no drama, it's very peaceful and loving.
Exactly. Warm and supportive.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost appreciation. Not almost. It's appreciation.
It is.
It's beautiful. It's like graceful, right? It is that graceful.
Yep.
Like all of you guys, I remember at the end of the masterclass and the day before the very last day, I was like, okay, you guys, what does anybody need? And everybody was like, nothing. What is everybody missing? Nothing. What is everybody struggling with? Nothing. Because everybody was in this really graceful, beautiful place, and they were just in love with their twin, and they knew exactly what you guys had to do. And it's most of that is just flipping into this place of no matter what, I love you. Chrissy's saying there are a lot of people talking about kingdom spouse and saying they are all the same as a twin, and everyone can have one if they want it. Oh my God, I don't want to touch that with a 20-foot pole. Not you, Chrissy. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's fine. They can, if they want to spawn off something, I don't even know what that is. Oh, good Lord. So it's almost like we've morphed into a whole another spawn of something that should be. I don't
It
really
sounds
understand.
like it. Because I remember at one point where it was just in the community, there was just a widespread belief that everybody had a twin. So it kind of sounds like that. It just branched off.
Well, they've always said, and I remember this even when I first started realizing I was a twin, and I was looking all this stuff up. And I remember them saying, so many people said it to me so many times. Well, if you don't want, your twin, or this journey isn't what you want the way it is, then you can always ask for somebody else, ask for a soulmate. That's totally true. You can at any given moment. This path isn't for everybody. I've seen people walk off it because they legitimately can't handle it and they just want to have a happy 3D life. Hats off to you. Go ahead. You have to make that choice for yourself. But this kingdom thing sounds kind of like a kingdom spouse. They're the same as a twin, but everyone can have one. See, that right there is a contradiction in itself. If they're the same as the twin, then how are they same as a twin? Because by definition, twins have a cord, They have certain symptoms that soulmates don't have. It's really cut or dry. It's the same thing as the twin energy is a different, it's a different frequency than light worker energy, which is a different frequency than unawakened people energy, which is a different frequency than dark energy. The twin fire is a frequency that is only its own frequency. So only twins have that. So it's twins have a frequency, light workers have a frequency. So there really is no there's no mixing that. It's not gray or white. It's like you're a zebra or you're a horse. It doesn't really matter which one you are, but whatever you are, like you're a zebra, you're not going to go race horse. You're not going to go, well, whatever. Not going to go live in the jungle. Maybe you do. But here's the point. You either are or you aren't. I mean, this isn't what you feel like being. And if people want to feel like there's something, go right ahead. But the problem with the people running around saying that they're twins and they're helping people navigate in a way that's not really helpful because they don't understand the connection is doing a grave disservice to the people that are twins that are desperately trying to understand how they're supposed to get through this. Because if they're listening to a soulmate tell them that they're supposed to be together today or tomorrow, and that's not the case, we got all these true twins out there beating their heads against the wall because they're like, all of these people out here say that twins are in union. That's what am I doing wrong, or what's wrong with me, or why isn't my twin showing up? And then the twin gets blamed for that when twins aren't supposed to be together anyway right now. So it's like, it's really frustrating. It really discourages true twins because hardly anybody's out here is saying that we're not supposed to actually be together yet because the community is so infiltrated with soulmates saying they're in union. And then they're putting all of these soulmates in relationships, which is really easy to do because they're supposed to be together. Wow. You want to date? There you go. It's easy. Where twins have a set of challenges and things that they have to overcome and things they have to learn, and they have a responsibility to embrace abilities, the connection, helping your twin from 500 miles away. That's our responsibility. So it's really not the same thing. So they can say they're the same. It's just more convoluted bullshit. Sorry. If it makes them happy, go ahead and do it. I really want to focus on twins that are committed so that they can actually get the help they need. Because there's not a lot of it out there. Interesting though. Thank you for sharing that, Chrissy. That's really discouraging. It's just so convoluted, but people will do what they do. If it makes you happy, go right ahead. So there's that. Nita and Stancy, can you guys, do you guys, yeah, Stancy can't share. She's got a lot of noise around her, but I can tell you myself, I'm the DM, and I had a hell of a time walking into this journey because I wanted to run like the wind, and I did for years. My hardest part of embracing this journey, honestly, was realizing that I had no control of anything and that I basically surrender. I know this sounds all cheesy because it sounds like twin terms, but legitimately understand the path enough to understand faith in my twin, faith in God, faith in team, understanding the connection and how to embrace it so that I can navigate it with him as from afar and not from a vacuum. And then having Holy Father God's and my holy angelic team's guidance in moving me through every step of it, of what I needed to do, what we needed to work on, how I can help him from afar, how every move that I needed to make came from team and from my twin. So, and it shifted my whole journey because once I embraced those things, it was like, actually, this is really a beautiful thing. We have a beautiful connection. We have a beautiful connection with team. I just ask God what I want, what I need. He tells me and I do it. And that's all that is. And for the people that are really embracing this, they have a lot of peace, just like Leah was saying. A lot of peace, productivity, progress. a lot of respect and appreciation from their twin because they're loving them with no conditions. A lot of people say, there's one more thing. A lot of people say, well, how come I have to do all the work? Somebody's going to have to. There's one person leading, and if you're both turning your backs to each other, you're never gonna meet in the middle. Um, one person, all it takes is one person to change you both. So if I tear down a wall and I start being vulnerable and I start appreciating my twin is going to respond in kind. My twin is going to feel appreciated and like he can be open. The whole dynamic shifts. It's not that one person is doing all the work. If you don't believe your twin is doing any of the work, then I recommend you back up and go and relearn how to embrace the connection because all the answers are there. Your twin has a much different idea of the dynamic than you think, but you have to connect with them on the soul level to get the truths. So it sounds convoluted and it sounds complex. It is so simple. Learn what the blueprint of the journey. Learn how to communicate with your twin, even if you're not even talking. Learn how to get your guidance from God so that you know how to help both of you and you know what to do. And then just love them no matter what. It's the 4 things. And understand your energy and your frequency, all that kind of stuff too. But we're here to love, and it's really, people say love and light all the time. But really, are they unconditionally loving? Chrissy's saying, right, that's what I was feeling. It's not time yet to be together. I love this community. I would be so lost if I hadn't come to you, Lynn. Oh, I was the DM and running the most. I got rid of so many people. Did that happen recently, Chrissy? Or when did that happen, when you start kind of cutting people out? Because I kind of did it along the way, like after I had my awakening, my Kundalini. But wow, ever since July, it was like, nah, cut and dry, go. I'm not doing it. It's unhealthy. Come back when you can have some healthy space. Like, has that been recently or was that a while ago? Recently, August. Oh, yep. Yep, that's a good confirmation, Chrissy. Thank you. Because like everybody in the group is like, they're seeing where they are around this corner right now, and you're like, right. Yep. You're kind of coming around that corner. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, all true twins that are actually like active and on path are really strong. Like they're doing their work, they're moving through it, even if they don't really know. A lot of them just intuitively know what they're supposed to do, but they get the connection. They're like hearing and feeling, and they're remoting, and they're doing all of this stuff just innately. And like even had a girl come to me like 2 months ago, and she was like, I think I'm a twin, but this is all brand new to me. And she was as strong as, like, she just walked in, and she is as strong and as in touch with her abilities and her connection and her twin and team and everything. She's hearing God clearly, as the people in the group, because we're all in the same place. So that's cool. Nice confirmation. Thank you for that. Is there anything else you guys can add? Because I love your guys' input. Is there anything you guys can add about like objections, people in the community that are like, I can't love him because of whatever reason? Can you think of anything else? I'm losing my voice over here. No. Okie doke. Well, that was like a whole almost hour, 50 minutes. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Oh, go ahead, Leah.
No, I was just going to say, I think you've said it very well. I think you've covered everything.
I feel like I just spewed all that stuff. It's been building up for so long.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
It's important though.
Well, it really is frustrating because it's like people that are it's like there is a very small percentage of twins that are just loving their shit. They're just loving their journeys, whether they're in separation or they're working through stuff. They're still loving it even though it's difficult and they wouldn't change it for anything. And they're loving the shit out of their twins. Then I see a lot of twins that are really struggling that are like, I can't stand this another day because they don't really understand it. They don't know how to embrace their twin or reach their twin from far away or understand why they're far away. They're supposed to be. And it's really easy. And they're spinning in it. And then they've got all of these other non-twins that are saying they're in union, or they're bashing the person that they think is their twin that's not and dragging them down with them. So it's like we got this little divide of people that are really kicking ass and loving this versus everyone else. I just want people to love this journey because it's the most beautiful thing on the planet. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more beautiful thing than this. So if you have it, why not love it? Like, what's it worth to, turn that around? It's really easy to do it. Chrissy's saying, that's so helpful. You're welcome. So many saying, give up if it's too hard, shaking my head. It's not hard. See, that's the thing. It's really not that hard once you understand it. Oh, it's so frustrating to me. But we're going to be out here talking our butts off and trying to explain all this stuff so people understand it. Probably won't be going this long, 52 minutes, but I think this is like this is my biggest problem with the community right here. Such a blessing. Not loving your twins. We have people come in the group that will start bashing their twins and I kick them out. I'm like, if you can't love your twin, that's all you got to do is love your twin. If you're bashing your twin, there's a problem. You need to go figure out why this is happening and fix it. It's just it's not that hard. So there's that. We just started the new master course. People are like game changing their journeys in there. If you guys want to learn about this or talk about if this is something you want to do, turn your journey around, the link is right here. Leah put it up. Bye, Nita. Have a good night, love. I'm going to put the links up in, they're right at the top. So there is, the membership thing is right at the top if you want to just join the free group where we all hang out, and it's not Facebook, it's like our group and everybody loves it. So the free group, it's up at the top. And then also if you want to flip your journey inside out and really rock this shit, hit the master course link and check it out. This is everything that we're learning in there, but it's really and nothing more. It's like master these things and then everything else is cake. So go in there. If you really just have a couple questions about it, just email me. There's a link in there. So there's that. We have a really tight group. The people that were in last round are in this round again. I love them. Most of these guys here, all of you guys here, Nita, Stancy, Leah are all in there. And then we have some new people. I haven't really pushed a lot of new people in there. So if you guys want to join, we have room. Would love to have you. So there's that. Thank you guys for getting through all this. I know it's a lot, and people don't want to hear this, that it's easy and it's loving. But it really is, and it can be for everyone. So that's like the goal. And I hope you can find that, and we're here to help you. So there's that. So we'll be back we're doing like a marathon live this weekend. So we're going to do like true twin signs tomorrow. Not just true twin signs, but the difference between the signs that everybody gets and what actual true twin connections feel, see, hear, the difference. Like there are actual indicators that twins have to deal with that other soul groups don't. So it's really easy to look at, and you can do a self-assessment on what your connection is based on, do these things apply to you or not? And they don't apply to other people. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I'm definitely going to come back here tomorrow and do it. And then we might even do a Q&A in case anybody has stuff that they want to hammer out, but we'll be around. Hey, Chrissy. She's like, thank you so much. It is beautiful. It'll allow it to be. Totally. 100%. So there's that. Thank you, guys. We will be back. Have a good one.